Hey, good morning, Cindy. It's we're here. It's bright and early on a Monday, as we
Nice.
always get to. We always chat on Monday morning, but we decided to go live today and share again a little piece behind the scenes of what we do. Just a fraction of some of the hours we put into trying to create events for travelers and connect travelers with unique tour service providers, whether it's a
Right.
tour or a volunteer experience. I mean, we've been meeting so many amazing people. So.
We do. And we just talked to Tracy this morning about her local insights endeavor, about how she's hoping to connect locals with travelers and have an app for that so you can have
Yeah.
dinner or lunch with somebody local. What a neat idea. There's so many things out there. And we want to foster that sort of community. We're hoping that we can connect people, and the people that are trying to do travel businesses can flourish, even the small ones, and the travelers are getting a more in-depth,
It's something unique as we talk
yeah.
about all the time, many of our travelers too, it's like they don't want to just stand there kind of on the outside looking in. They'd want to have that conversation with a local or help
Yeah.
animals in another country. I mean, we've just been meeting so many amazing people over the course of wow, it's been a good 2 years we've kind of been
Yes,
doing this and having this. Well, we've had this vision for a long time. So
we
that's what we
have.
kind of want to talk about today. So,
Yeah, because today we thought we would pause and talk to you guys all about and share sort of our planning around our next travel symposium, because we did this last year. Last November, we did a big 2 day, and it had to be online because of the way the world was, event. And it was a huge success. We
oh,
had
yeah.
we had more speakers and more content than we had time to provide. Is really what we had. So,
Yeah. And
uh,
doing it in November was a little bit of a challenge, I'll be honest, because with my fall tours being out in September and October, it's like we were trying to put it together ahead of time, but a lot of stuff comes down to like last minute of arranging the schedule. And then we were wanting to appeal to our travelers that had been joining our coffee chats from like Europe and Australia, which are two very different time zones, and how to accommodate that, which I think we did pretty
we
well,
did
but
pretty
yeah,
good, but it
but
meant really
yeah,
full days for you and I. Actually,
yeah,
I think
really,
week and a half or so leading up to it, you and I just worked nonstop to get that going, and it was worth it. I will say that
right.
it was a lot of work. It was definitely worth it, but I think for the time crunch, we talked about this earlier last week, is maybe we need to push the date and move it out of the November timeline, just
Yeah,
because
I think
we want to do
so.
this every year. We want it to be at a time of the year that makes sense for us and for our travel providers as well. And
And for travelers in a way, because if you think
right,
about it, a lot of the big travel shows, they're always in like, well, at least in the United States, they tend to be in January and February and kind of get people inspired because for much of the US, it's cold, it's kind of dreary. You just came off of Christmas and you're thinking about where do I want to put my travel dollars? Where do I want to go? What places? How do I want to experience travel this year? And all of that. So I think we're kind of leaning towards moving the event into like
March.
February, March. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's open up our notes and
Oh yeah, let me get
start
that.
jotting down some ideas because that is the other thing is trying to pick a time frame that makes sense. Because I think Cindy and I are ready to
Oh,
what
oh,
places or how do I want to Cindy and I are ready to
Grammarly
like
helps
have
you
a
work more efficiently. Which sorry.
no, sorry.
Many things going on at the same time. There we go.
Cindy
Go
and I
ahead.
want to move it from which was our vision all along and before even the world kind of shut down and things changed there for that pause. We walked around some of these big in-person travel shows, and we both were disenchanted. There was just not much there for us. And
Yeah.
we're talking Los Angeles. That used to be a huge event. There were lots of booths there, but a lot of it just didn't speak to us. A lot of it, because of the cost that they're charging for the providers to come, it's become too expensive for smaller
Mhm.
independents to have a presence, which is unfortunate. And that's why we've taken up
Yeah.
this mission to kind of find them and share them. And so
Yeah.
now, though, we want to do something both online for people and something in person, which was our vision all along. So it's A, how do we afford that? And kind of finding a space that may work
Mhm.
and allowing our providers to come to that space and be there and also hopefully some travelers to come that day and if it's going to be like over a weekend makes the most sense and then having maybe the online portion the 2 days prior
Yeah, I
These
think
are
that,
things we're kind of challenging. I
yeah.
guess we should look at what holidays fall in March. Hopefully Easter
Yeah,
doesn't
let's look at
fall.
picking a date because I'm gonna say, and I can look on my phone because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't really look at my calendar, but I will look real quickly at
Yeah, I've got my phone calendar.
what I got on my phone. And so I think we had talked about like maybe I think the first week or second week of March would work the best. Just because there's holidays in February. March typically has nothing. Uh,
Yeah, I think March is generally
and I'm,
pretty.
of course, my phone is forcing me to sign in to everything every time.
Oh no.
Um, send a code. There it goes.
Yeah, I'm just putting in, make sure there's nothing
Okay, let me go look. I think
really. I don't think there's anything major in. Let's see.
so. March, the first weekend of March would be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Um,
Right.
or it would be the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then,
Well,
oh, so
it
we
looks like
do
the third.
not want to do it on the 10th, 11th, and 12th because it's daylight
Oh,
savings.
that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, don't do it
Hell
on that
no.
day. Yeah,
We did the last
I
time.
think that happened to us the last time, to be
It did.
honest, Cindy, and it
It
is challenging for us as organizers and just the speakers and then the participants. Yeah, we don't want to do
No,
that again.
we will never do that again.
So I guess we're leaning towards let's go ahead and tentatively put down that first weekend in March,
Yeah,
tentatively.
so the weekend would be, let's see, Friday,
Friday's the 4th, Saturday's the
March.
5th, Sunday's the 6th. I can read those off to you.
No, it's Friday is the 3rd.
Oh, do I have the wrong calendar? Maybe I put in March. Here we
2020.
are. Yeah, I probably put in this year's calendar.
Yeah, 2023, Friday, March. And then we have Saturday, March 4th. At least that's what I'm seeing. Double
Yeah,
check.
yeah. Okay, let me look for the March
March
2023. So hard
4th,
we're talking about
2023, and then
2023.
Sunday.
I've got Friday is the 3rd, Saturday's the 4th, Sunday's the
Yep.
5th. And
Okay.
Thursday, if we started half the online thing, would be the 2nd.
Okay, I think that those are good dates and that gives us enough lead time to get it together and it's before the time change. California's not doing time change anymore apparently. So I think this is the last year, but other parts of the world do it. Other parts of the, certainly in the United States still do it. So I don't want to do anything that weekend because that was crazy last time.
Right. Yeah, that was too much to navigate. Just
And
another
it was just
layer.
mistake. Are there any other like national holidays? Can you look that up real quick just to see what holidays are in March? And international holidays too, because we are inviting our international. I had a
Yeah.
website for that.
I was
So
actually just trying to see too when some of the large, not that they're like us, but again, travelers would
yeah,
be
we don't want
in
to compete with
those.
them.
We don't want to compete, but we may want to be in the area as such potentially. I don't know, maybe we get some of their overflow, but if we have a speaker, we don't want them not to come to ours. But
So
we're a different audience, but let me see.
I'm gonna look up holidays in March of 2023. National. I want all of them, not just.
Yeah, you had a website, I know that you.
Oh my goodness, maybe we don't.
Why?
Let me see, because it looks like Mardi Gras.
Isn't it right after Mardi Gras?
International holidays, time and date. Well, holidays. It was for this year, 2023, March. Let me go to March.
Well, I guess Mardi Gras does happen, so let me just double
According
check.
to this, there's not. When is Mardi Gras? Let me just ask. Google that question.
Yeah, because it looks like they've already got here. Mardi Gras 2023.
Oh, it's the 21st of February.
February.
Good. Okay.
It starts on. Yeah, it looks like it starts on February 21st.
Yeah. Okay. So we should be well.
I
Well,
think we'll be past.
over for sure.
Right.
Um, let me go back to my calendar, and if it's February 21st, that gives us, it's a whole week plus a couple of days before our event. Okay, so we'll miss Mardi Gras. So I'm just gonna make a note here, like
Yeah, right.
Mardi Gras, it equals February 21st, and then daylight savings.
Yeah, we're gonna miss that.
But I want to just write it down so we don't forget, because daylight savings is on the 12th.
All right, and then we'll have to talk a hot minute about places that we can throw out that we might consider. But yeah, date-wise, that looks potentially at least.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about those dates. Like we're looking at the first week in March. So hopefully you guys are all in the, not traveling. You don't have a big trip planned.
Yeah.
So you can come join us in the early weeks of March next year and do something in person. If not, you can at least join online. So in person, let's talk about the in-person location now. So you were going to do, like, where are those other ones? So give me the location.
Yeah, let me go for the big website of where.
Because this is a travel and adventure show, right?
Yeah, they still have the largest audience, even though it's not technically aligned. But we see the same people though wandering around like we are. I think just like frustrated that there's not all people that just want to travel in those ways. Which the cruise ships have bigger budgets. We don't have those budgets, and some of us don't prefer to travel that way. So let's see. Travel and adventure show. Let's see if they have the dates for 2023. It looks like Chicago, Illinois is in January 14 and 15. Boston is January 21, 22. New York, 28, 29 of January. Washington, D.C., February 4 and 5. Sorry, they're flying by fast. LA is February 18, 19. Denver, February 25, 26.
You have to go back. What was Washington, D.C.? I'm missing that. I'm just not going.
I can restart it. It scrolls quick, so it's like the first thing that opens on their page. So let me try it again. All right, now it's going to stop and I'll have to reload it.
So I got Chicago.
Okay, I know I'm like talking fast because their slides are like flying by fast. All right, here we go. Let's see. Chicago, January 14, 15.
Got it.
Boston, January 21, 22.
Got it.
New York, 28, 29 of January.
Okay.
Washington, D.C., February 4 and 5. Los Angeles is February 18, 19. Denver is February 25, 26. San Francisco is March 4 and 5. And Atlanta is March 25, 26. And then they go to Dallas, April 1 and 2. And that's it.
Okay, so I think the only one we're competing with is the one in San Francisco, which that's okay.
Right.
I don't know how big that one is.
Yeah, I don't either.
But we know that ours is very different. And so we can talk about that in a minute, but we don't want to offer what they're offering because we don't like it. Like there are pieces of it that we like, I think, but in the concept I like, but I'm not happy with them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think what happened is, the venues, I don't know if it's a price thing, and I'm sure, and I know people want to make money, but they've just priced all the smaller people out and haven't navigated a way to include them. I mean, honestly, we've seen a few small independents, and I don't know how they come up with the money to have their little booth. I remember walking by Well, there was a woman that has a travel book, and she was based in the Midwest. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do you have this booth on the corner? And
Yeah.
then there was another gentleman that he and his wife did like, they were passionate about safari, I think it was, and seeing animals. And he literally, too, I'm like, was looking at him like, how do you afford this little booth?
Well, and I think a lot of those little ones, I mean, I did a women's show a few years ago, and I think, I mean, I did it that first year, and I think I would never do it again. And I wouldn't do it again, not because I wasn't meeting people, because I did meet people and I did sell some stuff through the show. So that was helpful, but it was so small in comparison to the cost of the show. And the quality of the people that came were not what I was looking for. Many of the people that were coming to the show were looking for freebies, right? But
Yeah.
they're also looking for information. And I think that that is the kicker that I think we want to offer, is that um, most of the time as a traveler, when you come to the show, you're looking for inspiration, education, and then anything you're shopping for, you want it to be, like you're very unlikely to purchase a tour on the floor, on the trade show
Oh,
floor.
yeah,
You're not going to go
definitely.
out there and like spend $3,000 on a tour, because, and then of course the travel and adventure shows, like 50% of the booths are timeshares
Yeah, I
and
know.
cruises, right? So that's if you're into timeshares and you're into cruises, there's a ton of that there. But I wanted to go and learn about, a place. I wanted to go and learn about, like you said, a unique tour. I know we saw some bicycle tours one time. There was a
Yeah.
in France. That was another little small mom and pop kind of corner thing. They were offering that. It was really interesting. Those are the ones I want to talk to, and it's an opportunity to meet the travel providers, right? The people
Right.
who actually run these and connect with them. So I think that for us, we're not really competing with them in a way, because we're not going to offer 90% of what they're offering. There'll be maybe
No,
some
right.
overlap, right? But let's just maybe talk briefly about what we do like about the travel and adventure show.
Well, yeah, and maybe that'll spur some topics. Like, because I do like the fact that they used to have like the bookshop area. So, and some of the authors, and again, these were, it was nice that Rick Steves is there, and you can meet him, and he's got his book there. I'd always, as a kid, been a fan of the Frommers, and now the father and the daughter. The daughter is very much involved, and they are there. So, having some book authors, because again, it's inspiration, whether it's a guidebook or I think, again, it spurs ideas of maybe traveling in a different way. And we've met some people like that. They give you that idea. Like we brought up Joe May the other day, where he
Yeah.
he and his wife moved and lived on a barge. I mean, yeah, and it'd be fascinating to try to do that for a few months or so, just to
So
meet.
we do, so like a bookstore where we could offer books, even if the book author can't come, but we could also then do book signings and talks with the
Right,
authors, like that,
right.
and I did like that too. Like I know we were at one, and I know I got Cheryl Strayed's
Oh, yes,
autograph,
yeah.
wild for me, right? And I gave that to my daughter, which was a wonderful gift to have, as somebody you can, that you can meet
Right,
an author and
yes.
get a book signed, right? And then she talked for probably like 20 minutes to a half an hour to us as an audience. So having that as an option, I think that's really good. That is one of the things I like about it, about
Yeah,
the show.
exactly.
Um, and I think we like the shopping part. I'm gonna say that, like luggage,
Or yeah, if there's new gadgets, I think as
gadgets,
travelers, we're always looking to like, how can we do this better, faster, more compactly? There's new materials, there's new items, things we haven't thought of, even clothing that might be applicable,
and
where
there
you're
was like,
like,
yeah, tech demonstrations. I know there was somebody who had the Wi-Fi little pod when that was
yes,
new. Like
right.
I spent a lot of time talking to that individual, and just kind of learning what they have, because it's hard to watch it online, right? With
Yeah,
gadgets and stuff, it's hard to decide, do I want this piece of luggage? So even if they have it as one sample and I can't necessarily buy it right there, I can order it or whatever, that would still be a better option. Um,
right.
and we can maybe do it similar to the bookstore, where we don't have to have the actual people there, but maybe we could do like a store samples where we could
Right, if they have a
ask.
sample and
Yeah, we
then
talked to the
some,
stock guy and there's a
right,
packet guy we've talked to,
right,
right? Yep. And maybe they would give us 2 or 3 samples to put in our little mini store at the show
right,
so people could
right,
see it in person,
right,
right?
right.
Um, and if anybody wants to come and demo, that would be, yeah, I like that part of it. And then I do like the stages, like the talks, but not all of them. And one of the reasons I don't like many of them is they invite the tourism, like they'll go Taiwan and there's like a whole, I don't remember, what is it called? I can't think of the word.
Oh, like a tourism board where they come,
Yeah. And
yeah.
yeah, and they talk about, which is good if you want to know how to travel there. But I do like the ones where we talked to the genealogy. That's where we got that
Yeah,
idea,
right.
like unique ways to travel or tips, because I think we've gotten, we've had people share that. Um, those talks were good. What else?
Well, even just like if it's a panel, like we were on, like we attended something at noon that was kind of a panel, that might be helpful, or,
Yes. No,
so that you get a taste. I think sometimes the speakers they give them almost too much time
yeah.
a little bit, so you kind of start to lose interest. Unfortunately, our attention spans are shorter. So
Yeah.
you just want a snippet. You want to hear like, and we know how popular like our Let's Talk travel events are
Yeah.
because you get that taste, but then it's okay as such to walk away and go experience and listen to someone else for 15, 20 minutes and move on and ask questions. And so I don't
Right.
know, we may have to experiment with a way to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about how to make the presentations meaningful. But I mean, I think we've got a pretty good handle on that. Our online show last year was really great. And I think most of our presentations, if we would have been able to do many of them in person, like some of those sessions would have been fantastic. We could have
Oh
done
yeah.
together in person and that would have been so fun. I had
Yeah,
some,
because I know we had some topics like traveling on a budget, of course, volunteer
yes,
vacations, how to, points and miles is always popular because it's kind of its own whole area. And if people do understand it, they can often get their airline, find ways to offset by just normal purchases. And
right.
understanding how to do that is helpful. And just, if you're traveling with, special or unique, I don't know. I think the food thing is kind of interesting, though a lot of places, just tips, people that are
Right.
new to making changes to their diet.
Mhm. Well, and there are there's more people with that are acknowledging their diet changes, and so they've gotten gluten free or they have an issue with
Right.
certain things. So that hinders a lot of people from traveling, or at least in their head, maybe it does. And getting a group together, we know we've done that a few times, and there are some inspiring people that have traveled with some unique travel or unique challenges. And we can talk about accessible travel. It's another, we've
Yeah,
actually,
it was just because I was just thinking that. I mean, as we unfortunately we all get older, there's
yeah,
physical challenges too. And I often think like, when you go to Europe, it's like, wow, you do need to be able to do a lot of walking and there's stairs and cobblestones and
yeah.
so thinking of those things and
The other thing that I really liked was um, here in California, they had they had people from the State Department. Do you remember that?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like um, I don't know if we can
It
get
was like the
somebody.
STEP program and stuff.
Well, they were talking about the STEP program. They were talking about in California, they were talking about the Real ID.
Hmm.
There's like all those kinds of things, but we might be able to get someone not necessarily from the State Department. We're certainly not big enough to warrant that, but we might have somebody who has a specialty in that, and we also might be able to get somebody locally in the area wherever we have this that might be willing to come out, because they get handed out some things like how to enroll in the STEP program, what to do. We might even be able to get some material. I think everything on how to get your visa, like how to do that,
Oh, right, right,
passport renewals, like this is the kind of stuff that's really important. Um,
right,
if you can get your questions answered, right?
right.
Um, I did like that, and I felt that valuable. I spent some time talking to them. And other than the unique little mom and pop places, that's pretty much it for me. The rest of it is just like
Yeah, yeah, no, that was pretty much what I took away from that. But
Yeah. So that's what we liked. So now maybe we can talk about what, in addition to that, what we want to do that they don't do. Um,
well, we may want an opportunity, and I don't know where to work this in. I know oftentimes travelers in our various groups and platforms, they want to meet other travelers
I
because
was
not,
just thinking that.
yeah, not every traveler, part of the joy is experiencing it with someone else, and they may not have family that wants to go, or friends or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
There's so many circumstances why, I mean, that's part of the reason I like taking groups that have a similar interest, because there's so much joy in sharing the experience with someone else. So they want to meet other travelers, and even just to exchange ideas and tips and be inspired, like, oh wow, you went and did that, or hear their stories, or
So like what they don't do is they don't allow us to meet other travelers. They don't
yeah.
face the small boutique travel providers. And they also like don't really offer enough like inspiration. I think the only thing they do that a little bit with their talks. And what I mean by that is like the things that you don't think about doing. Everyone, when you think of travel, if somebody says, "Oh, you're traveling," it's like you're going to Paris or Rome or Venice or Germany. Like the regular,
Right.
the everyday things in your head. And I don't want to say those are everyday, but you know what I mean. There's sort of the traditional travel experiences, but I am inspired all the time by our other travelers and by some of our travel providers about the unique things that I never thought you could do, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
and we talked with our coffee chat this the other day, and we're like hitchhiking. I was like, God, I really would like to think about hitchhiking. That just, I know it sounds crazy, but it's definitely possible in different parts of the world, and different types of experiences. So just not necessarily selling anything, but just giving people ideas of the ways that they can mix up their travel experience.
Right, and that could come through having a traveler share their experience,
Yes.
which I know that's one thing I enjoy when we were doing a lot more travel interviews, like people, well, like Lisa right now, she's bicycling across the United States
Yeah.
with her
Yeah.
brother and family or whoever it is, that, and what an amazing experience.
And that might not be something you want to do, but the fact that someone, I mean, Lisa's not 22,
Right, that's what I
right?
mean.
Right.
Yeah.
And so someone, that decided to just do this, and they pretty much are doing it on their own. And it's inspiring. You may not want to drive, ride your bike from one end of the country to the other,
Yeah, right.
quite an endeavor, but it might inspire you. Like, if she can do it, then I could
Right,
do a
right,
20-mile bike ride, or I could, like you.
right.
And I think we want to inspire people to kind of get out of their comfort zone and do something different. And I don't think that the travel shows that we've gone to in the past do that for us. I know that's what we're hungry
Right. Well, I think
for.
that's what we're interested in. Or just like when you mentioned that you what traveled 70 days, and all the miles, and used the Amtrak to go
Yeah.
from place to place, and then when you got to that location, you found affordable places to stay, and made that part of working and
Yes.
pairing that together. And we've had a lot of interest in people, like doing the home exchange or pet sitting in exchange for
Yes.
getting you to a location, and then using that to offset some of your expenses. So some of those inspiring ways to
Inspiring, like creative. Like, I'll put that. Like
maybe creative, and maybe listing
ways to travel.
like having someone share about we have, like, Sheila's doing part of her language where she goes to Pueblo
Yes.
Place, having someone share about that. And she had Paula, her friend, that literally same thing, and
Yeah.
continue to go back and make that part of her travel year.
Yeah. And I think that that's the kind of stuff we want to open people's eyes to. And that's one of the things that I don't like about the travel and adventure show when we've gone, is it seems to be more mainstream. It's like, I already know this. The stuff that's available at the show is available online. I can Google it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Aside from some of the panel talks and a few of the hand touchy gadgets, other than that, I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting at. I still
Right.
go
Well,
every
no, and
year.
that's
I say,
why, yeah, I think that's why people that came to our online event though could hear these stories. They hear from the real travelers, like I did X, and here's
Yes.
some of the ways I did this, and then it inspires like you can plan it yourself and you can do it in these ways. So we just need to come up with some topics to highlight that, whether it's, like volunteering while you travel might be a
Right.
topic.
And we could do a whole panel, like you said, we could talk
Yeah.
about, people could share their little thing and then we could do question and answers after that. And
Yeah, so we should add that to like topics somewhere. Like
yeah,
that should be its own topic. Or,
um,
even recently I've gotten questions, or, there's more people that want to, because of maybe their situation. I know a gentleman that, again, because of his family situation, they've bought an RV and now they're taking mini vacations and doing that because it makes it more, they can take care of their needs as such in their little pod and still experience the United States. And so even, people are new to RVing, that's a whole new area, or camping,
yeah.
again, as a way to offset hotel costs, because lodging costs, as we know, is just becoming really expensive.
Um, all right, I put that down there. So I think if we looked at, like, if we can have some sort of bookstore, some sort of shopping, our panels, our talks, a way to meet other travelers, which I think we have a few ways where we can help people do that.
Right.
Make sure we showcase boutique travel providers and provide, creative and inspirational ways to travel. We would have a fantastic show.
Oh, I think so too. I think we would definitely.
So let's talk. We wanted to talk a little bit about the places to go. And
Oh, yeah.
um,
And I just pulled up a list of the 26, let's see if it'll load, 26 best places to visit in March in the United States. Since you and I are US based, we need to do the show here. So,
yeah, and let me stop sharing because go ahead.
oh, I didn't know if you wanted to add the list of cities just as
Yeah, go ahead.
places.
I'll type them in. Sorry, I'll go back to
Oh,
that. I
okay.
was gonna go to the one that I had
So
dug into last week. But go ahead.
best places to visit in the USA in March, probably because of weather, I'm guessing. But they list San Francisco. I know it's kind of more pricey. This
Got it.
one I know caught our attention when we talked about it offline. Asheville, North Carolina, so it's on the
Yeah,
list.
that's the one I was
And then Key West, Florida.
love to go there.
I'd love to go there. I know that time of year tends to be pricey. Texas Hill Country, which I'm not exactly sure what cities. I'd have to.
I don't know if that's something I want to do, but okay.
Yeah, and then it's saying Charleston, South Carolina. Again, beautiful in March. San Diego,
Mm-hmm.
which we know has good weather year round. Philadelphia, I know offline that city came up.
Yep.
Washington, D.C. does get weather in March, though. Providence Canyon Park in Georgia. I don't know why a park ended up by itself on the list. That kind of is confusing, but
Okay.
they also put Rocky Mountain National Park, which is odd, but
Which is in Colorado.
yeah, that's in Colorado. But I mean, I'm
Okay.
surprised the list when it was listing places. I don't know. Big Island, Hawaii. It's going to be hard for people to get there. Sedona, Arizona. Palm Springs. And then Atlanta, Georgia. What else comes up? Miami, which is pretty close to Key West, so it might as well go on the same line.
Atlanta, Georgia. What was the other? So Florida one?
Miami, which could go next to Key West because Miami and Key West are kind of close. Okay. I said Georgia, right?
Yep.
Atlanta, and then let's see. I told you the Big Island, Hawaii. Yep. Okay. Yep. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I don't know how close that is to some of the other, to Charleston. New Orleans, but as we mentioned, they would just be coming off of Mardi Gras. Carlsbad, California. Ennis, Texas. I don't even know where that is.
And it's Ennis or one
Yeah,
N,
Ennis.
Texas. Okay.
And then Mobile, Alabama.
No, thank you.
Don't know anything about Mobile. Fairbanks, definitely cold and dark. Fairbanks, Alaska. And that looks like it on this list of places to visit in March. Yeah.
I don't know what's a, okay, I can't think of what the abbreviation is. Alabama. I'm just gonna write it.
Yeah, just write it out.
And Alaska. Like I know them, but I can't, like the two of them, I'm like,
That's okay.
no.
It's all right.
Okay, so we have 10. I'm gonna just move all this to the thing. And we kind of resonated with Asheville, North Carolina, and then we also talked a little bit about Philly, but Philly will be colder. We were looking at a place that maybe might in March still be able to be outside. And so I'm gonna stop sharing and see if I can find this location because I found a beautiful place. And it may have not been in Asheville, it may have been in Raleigh. But let me just go see if I can pull it up from my my history in my browser history because I was looking at it that day and I was like, this is an amazing little place. It's downtown because I was diving deep into like all the places and we talked about hotels. Do we want to do it in a hotel? Where, what are we thinking about doing? And I think we want to have some sort of show floor. I think we want that kind of an experience to some
Yeah, I
degree,
think
right?
we need that to some degree, and maybe like even for travelers to interact and do some of the activities we were doing. Um, if it's a theme table again, so travelers can connect with each other, and so
Right,
we need a space to accommodate that too.
right. And so I found, here it is. Is it in this one?
Well, and we may have to dive into on another behind the scenes call, like what events may be happening in those cities in those dates, just to.
So I'm going to just share my screen. This place looked fantastic. I looked at, this is in Raleigh, North Carolina. So it's not in Asheville, but I was looking in Asheville and then I kind of got like, couldn't find something. So
Yeah, Asheville is pretty small. I mean,
yeah. And so Raleigh is a little bit bigger of a community. And what I was looking for was a place that had a big enough floor that would allow us to have, like you said, a trade show thing, some sort of experience like that, but not in a traditional hotel because we don't want to have that kind of feel to it.
no, I don't think we
We're
want
hoping to
that
get away from it.
feel. Yeah.
And I was looking at kind of wedding venues. That's where I went down that rabbit hole a little bit. And I was like, no, because a lot of those are like outside. This is called a historic market hall.
Ooh.
It's a city market in Raleigh, which is, it's in a city street. So it means we could have people in hotels somewhere if they wanted to stay and they can walk to this place. And it is beautiful. So there's like sitting areas
This does look beautiful.
on either side. And it's set up for a wedding here, April. So it looks big.
Right, it looks roomy.
Yeah, and it's on the ground floor. They have an upstairs to it. There's another little side area. They've set it up again for another wedding. I think this is also upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, so it looked, and then I think if I can stop sharing, I like went down the rabbit hole of like looking at that individual
Like
I think
Airbnb.
they have a regular website, and I'm going to see if I can find that because when I went to the website, I was like, oh, this place has real options. Industrial full service.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful spot. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to work something out since we know we're working on a budget and.
Well, and I thought we could book the room for the day.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So we won't have to have it for the whole weekend. We could maybe just
since it's downtown, then we could have other activities maybe
yes.
nearby or depending on where we're staying.
You're following me. So
Yes.
Here's other pictures because I was like, it looks like our kind of place. in
Oh, I
that.
love how it's historic and yeah, because I think that's what we definitely, again, supporting places like this that are historic, that are being you getting new life.
Yeah, see, they have
Oh,
these,
that's beautiful.
right? So we could set it up, we just have to work out how to set up the different areas. And I think it will hold, maybe like a couple of hundred people. So if you crowded them in like that, so we would be able to do that. And we're more likely looking at like 100 or so people on site is what I think we're
Yeah, I think that's right.
would be more appropriate. But we might get people in the local area. So I mean, I think
Well, you should write that place down in our document for our notes so that we have
yes.
it and can investigate further the price and
And I had, I'm
because then
pretty
we can
sure,
always start looking at, maybe Airbnbs nearby too that, because it'd be
yeah,
nice to have all of the providers, all of, we know we like to engage with our providers because we resonate with them,
right.
um, some of the ones that will be presenting, in fact, on Wednesday for our Let's Talk Travel again. It'd be nice to have us all in like a nice Airbnb, and then maybe even if the Airbnb had a little bit more intimate space, maybe there's a few things we can do there, like a live coffee chat. And I don't know, we'll have to think on that. We may have to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the same thing. Like we could rent a larger Airbnb where we'd have like place like a sitting area where we could meet
Right.
all our group, at least with our providers, or even we could even invite some of our travelers over to have some smaller intimate experience
Yeah.
in those kinds of
Oh,
moments.
yeah, this is so exciting. I'm getting super excited. We're finally seeing our vision maybe start to.
It might actually come to pass. Yeah, so I like I said, I really did like that spot, and I thought if we can rent that spot, it wasn't super expensive. I'm going to put the link in our notes
Yeah,
real
just put the link in the notes for you and I to
um
uh, ruminate on the price and how we can work that in. So,
yeah, I think it wasn't that expensive. All right, let me drop this into our notes real quick. So we have this is what it's
and
um
then we'll have to wrap up our live behind the scenes right now pretty soon, since we do have a scheduled phone
oh
call
yeah, we do
coming up.
have another call. Yeah, so I dropped that in the notes. So we'll look at that. So maybe it'll be in North Carolina. It's definitely going to be the first week in March. That's when we feel comfortable with that. And so we'll start thinking about and maybe posting some questions in the community about what they're looking for, uh,
Yeah,
what kinds of things they want. And we do really, I know we want to answer that. How do I meet travelers? So if you're like, hey, I want to meet other people, this is going to be the place, we promise you.
yeah, we're
Yes,
gonna make that happen because I know that's coming up a lot lately, and you
we're
know,
going to do travel salad is what
I know that's
we're
why
going to
I just
do.
want to like say that out loud because a lot of people that have just met us in the last couple of years have no idea what travel salad was, and we were just getting it off the ground in LA before everything changed. I mean, literally, I think a couple
Yes.
before they officially said nope. Everyone's like,
Yep.
nope.
I think we had maybe 3 or 4 travel salad events.
Yes,
And then COVID hit, and then we weren't able to do it in person. And it's really amazing. And it is specifically to answer this question, how do I meet travelers? And we've devised a way for you to meet everyone in the room and
I
connect with them
know,
and
and it's
understand how they
fun.
travel. And we have
And
a
yeah, and it
game
was,
to play.
I think it was good because you didn't have to go up to these people yourself. We specifically set it up so you're part of it and you just move through and
Move through it, and then when you get done, you've spoken to everyone at the group in the group, and you have like an idea and you know some things. So travel salad, we'll talk more about that, and that'll be one of the highlights, I'm sure, of this event, because I'm excited about helping people meet other travelers. So
yeah, me too.
I think we're good for today.
Drop some comments if you see this video after the fact. If you missed our live, I know it's early for our West Coast travelers, but
Yes.
please drop some comments on this episode. Tell us, your thoughts on what kinds of speakers or things that you want to see in this type of event. We'd love to hear about it and talk to you all
Yeah.
soon.
Talk to you all
Excited. And
soon. We're
hopefully
so
we'll see you
excited.
Wednesday. Wednesday